Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and my heart is overflowing because John Frusciante is back in the Red Hot Chili Peppers for their first album with him in 16 years, and their first album overall in 6. Josh Klinghoffer has departed the band, and I have nothing but kind words and respect for this man and what he did in the Chili Peppers. Their 2010s material is drastically overlooked and unfairly dismissed, but good God, I would be lying if I said I wasn't on fire for album 12, Unlimited Love. Despite Anthony Kiedis performing as a pirate during certain parts of the verses, I think the song sounds fantastic. It's definitely a big comeback statement. It's the opening song on Unlimited Love, and with the subsequent singles, I have to say, biggest misfire ever. They could not have picked worse follow-up singles. I say that not as someone who hates those songs, I just think that they're the weakest elements on an album full of huge highs, big victory laps, and even some expansive elements that push the Chili Peppers forward. Needless to say, I was sweating bullets as my anticipation for the album was still extremely high, but I was a little worried because Not the One was very mid. I felt that it was rather uninteresting on the whole, and also Poster Child. I just have this thing, it's a pet peeve, where I don't like songs that just constantly name check stuff, and it feels like kind of a lazy imitation of their own song that already exists from One Hot Minute, Walkabout, which is easily one of their most underrated ever. Throw everything that you expected for this album out the window, at least based on the singles, because John Frusciante is back in this band, and you absolutely feel that, not only from his delicious guitar licks, but also from those backing vocals, and even one track where he sings leads on the chorus. With iconic producer Rick Rubin returning to the Chili Peppers to produce Unlimited Love, I can respect the hesitations that some people had. They didn't want him to brickwall the sound of this LP. We all know how he likes to work sometimes, but I really appreciate that he actually didn't necessarily do that. I feel that this album gives space to every member, and it really shines. It just sounds fantastic overall as the atmosphere can wash over you, and you can pick out the details and nuance in every track. I can't tell you how good it feels as a lifelong Chili Peppers fan, as somebody who considers them one of his top 10 favorite bands of all time, to listen to this album in full. It comes in at about an hour and 10 minutes, which is not that weird for the Chili Peppers, a band who put out Stadium Arcadium, but it feels like they picked up and didn't really lose much. It was clear that they had been jamming a ton together, working John back into the band, and they are firing on every cylinder imaginable. Locking in those funk rock grooves is effortless for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, even well into the band's late 50s with the aging members. I have to say, this is aging like a fine wine at its most exemplary. With roaring guitars, electric drums, some incredible bass work from Flea, which I would expect nothing less from him, and Anthony Kiedis actually giving some of his best vocal performances in his later years ever, I just feel like this album is so much fun to listen to. And with the Chili Peppers, that's something that goes hand in hand with them. Whether you're rocking out or even on a ballad, you know that the good times are probably going to come, and they bring that in spades while also thinking outside of the box. Unlimited Love gets off to an aces start, thanks in no small part to, of course, Black Summer, but even bigger and better, dare I say, are Here Ever After and Aquatic Mouth Dance. Here Ever After sees Anthony Kiedis smoothly rolling into MC mode, and some of his finest rapping, stuff that I definitely really dig from the Chili Peppers, with a funky groove playing all throughout some incredible guitars. And Aquatic Mouth Dance is weird, it's out there, it's got brassy elements layered all over it, the experimental vibes are dialed up to 11, but it's still Chili Peppers through and through, and Flea is absolutely on fire on this song. After a bit of a fumble that does impact the pacing of this album, thanks to Not the One and Poster Child being so vastly different and not necessarily complementing each other, we go on a 5-song enormous winning streak that's all capped off with the great Apes. Holy fucking Frusciante! The man is back and he is dominating with an absolutely electrifying performance, not just here, mind you, but of course course, this was one of the most noteworthy. I like this track, and while the lyrics can feel a bit out there, that's not that far from normal for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Forgiving a few awkward one-liners here and there from Anthony is not a big deal to me. It's never really been a deal breaker because you're always gonna get a few, it feels like, but for the most part, I'm really impressed with the amount of nostalgia, but also refreshing waves and perspectives that he brought to Unlimited Love. The band's ability to perfectly synchronize with each other is on full display on It's Only Natural, a song that didn't necessarily grab me on first or even second listen, at least not in full, but by the time I started to focus in, I could see the finer details of the song, and there's so much finesse from both Flea, John, Chad, and Anthony. This song is absolutely a watery atmosphere. I love how expansive it feels to the Chili Peppers universe. Hand to God, these next three songs floored me. She's a Lover, These Are the Ways, What You Thinking. All three of them are so vastly different in their own way. They have so many unique qualities, but they just work, they do. She's a Lover sports such a funky, groovable rhythm that you can't help but lose yourself in, and it has some incredible backing vocals from Frusciante, some of the best on the entire album. These Are the Waves ends in this punk rock jam session that goes hard with those fierce guitars. I cannot help but headbang every single time. And then What You Thinkin' is absolutely classic Chili Peppers. You can't help but smile as you listen to this absolutely incredible song that has it all from every single member of the band. I definitely feel a good competitive tug-of-war competition going on within the band as they all fight for different vibes on different songs, and Bastards of Light is one that absolutely blew me away in the best way possible. It's confusing at first as it opens with these dark, ominous synthesizers, but by the time it's over, you find yourself thinking, wow, they absolutely nailed a kind of Queens of the Stone Age vibe, somewhere in between Smooth Sailing and Feet Don't Fail Me Now. White Braids and Pillow Chair is definitely one of my least favorites on the LP. It's a little all over the place, and I can appreciate the fact that it's trying to be a little tongue-in-cheek, a little bit funky and fun and zany whacked out, but I don't necessarily see myself coming back to it. One-Way Traffic is a hell of a good ride, despite the fact that it can feel a little gimmicky when it gets to the chorus. Who really cares because the windows are down and Kiedis is on top of the world? But immediately after that, oh my good lord. Veronica has to be one of my favorite Chili Peppers songs ever. The watery, smooth as butter guitar from John Frusciante all throughout this thing is the perfect accent mark on top, but Anthony's vocals and his lyrics on this track are just so sharp. I love that line about life kind of being like a rope swing because you always end up where you came from. I can already tell this is going to be one of those songs that I learn every single word to, and it probably won't take that long either because the replay value is so damn high. In fact, I can already feel myself getting emotionally attached to it, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Bubbly bass takes over Let 'Em Cry, and this actually feels like it could have had a home on albums like I'm With You. I love the more reserved playing style that definitely breaks out in places, but right after that, we get one of the most jaw-dropping moments on the entire album because John motherfucking Frusciante takes over on lead vocals on the chorus for the heavy wang. This song, it's definitely a future classic, I feel, for the Chili Peppers because it's just so classic rock inspired, but at the same time, Anthony Kiedis is singing during the verses, so it feels a bit more akin to the rest of the Chili Peppers discography, but when John unleashes his voice, it's just something that you can't even put into words. Tangelo closes out the album with a bit more of an introspective ballad, and I can appreciate and latch onto this a whole lot more compared to the likes of Not the One. I don't know how else to say it other than it feels harmonious, like two spirits are connecting again and you're able to put something to peace, which is a nice way to close this chapter of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. To wrap things up, despite some bad single choices outside of Black Summer, I really cherish this LP, and I'm so happy to see this band not just fading away and crumbling, falling apart at the seams, instead going in the opposite direction, carrying the torch well into their 50s, almost to their 60s, and I can't wait to see what they do next with apparently another LP brewing, and they've had tons of songs already recorded. I'm very excited. I'm going to give Unlimited Love a 4.5 out of 5. What did you guys think of Unlimited Love? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm sure so many of us are very excited right now, and I'm just so happy because this album is actually pretty much everything I wanted with John back in the band. But if you have other thoughts, share them in the comments. Please hit that like button, share out the review, check out more of my Chili Peppers videos on screen now, and I'll return soon with more on ARTV.